Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Games and Names. We have two sports featured for you in this episode. One of them is rhythmic gymnastics, and the other is freestyle football or freestyle soccer. And two dear guests will feature here the gymnast Malak Haytham and the freestyle footballer Mahmoud Raghib. So let's get to know more about gymnastics, about freestyle football, about Malak and Mahmoud in the upcoming minutes of Games and Names. Gymnastics is a sport that includes exercises requiring balance, strength, flexibility, agility, coordination, and endurance. The movements involved in gymnastics contribute to the development of the arms, legs, shoulders, back, chest, and abdominal muscle groups. Alertness, precision, daring, self-confidence, and self-discipline are mental traits that can also be developed through gymnastics. Gymnastics evolved from exercises used by the ancient Greeks that included skills for mounting and dismounting a horse, and from circus performance skills. The most common form of competitive gymnastics is artistic gymnastics, which consists of, for women, the events floor, vault, uneven bars, and beam. For men, it consists of the events floor, vault, rings, pommel, parallel bars, and horizontal bars. The Fédération Internationale de Gymnastique, the FIG, is the governing body for gymnastics worldwide. FIG governs 8 sports that include gymnastics for all, men's and women's artistic gymnastics, rhythmic gymnastics, trampoline, including double mini trampoline, tumbling, aerobics, acrobatics, and parkour. Disciplines not currently recognized by FIG include wheel gymnastics, aesthetic group gymnastics, men's rhythmic gymnastics, team gym, and malakamba. Participants in gymnastics-related sports can include young children, recreational level athletes, and competitive athletes at varying levels of skill, including world-class athletes. The word gymnastics derives from the common Greek adjective gymnos, by way of the related verb gymnazo, whose meaning is to train naked, train in gymnastic exercise, generally to train and to exercise. The verb had this meaning because athletes in ancient times exercised and competed without clothing. Gymnastics can be traced to exercise in ancient Greece in Sparta and Athens. That exercise for that time was documented by Philostratos' work Gymnastikos. Exercise in the gymnasium in later dates prepared men for war. The original term for the practice of gymnastics is from the related verb gymnazo, which translates to exercising without clothes.
أنا ملك هيثم عندي 17 سنة. بدأت جمباز من وأنا عندي 2.5 سنين. يعني بقالي حوالي 16 سنة كده بلعب. وكنت بلعب الأول في اسكندرية وبعدين
I am Malak Haytham. I'm 17 years old. I started practicing gymnastics since I was 2.5 years old, so I have been playing for some 16 years now. I used to play in Alexandria, but 4 or 5 years ago, we came to Cairo. I now play for Az-Zuhur Sporting Club. I've been lucky enough to land first, second, and third places, i.e. gold, silvers, and bronzes in numerous national championships. For the last 5 years, I have been representing Egypt internationally in big tournaments like those in Slovenia and Belgium. I landed second and third place in two tournaments in Slovenia, and I went to Slovenia for a third time and to the Belgian International Championship for the first time the following year. Getting the silver medal in Slovenia is considered my best achievement. I'm also proud of my medals, of course, at the national championships. Time management, will, and determination are the key for success in our sport. You also have to live a dream and keep trying to achieve it. A thin body with a good mass of muscles and little fat is also key for sure. As you can expect, we are not allowed to eat fast food, with perhaps the exception of once a month or so. Otherwise, you have to eat fruits, vegetables, and get a lot of protein. Artistic gymnastics needs strength. We work on four apparatuses: the floor, the horse, parallel bars, and the beam, while rhythmic gymnastics depends more on agility and elasticity. You work with a ball and a ribbon, and I consider it totally different from artistic gymnastics. The first thing you do when you enter the gymnastics hall is warming up. This is a key process to prevent strains or injuries. Then it's fitness exercises. Then we practice on each of the four apparatuses for half an hour or so. The floor, the horse, the barrel bars, and the beam. Then it's more stretching. Now, as far as the apparatuses are concerned, parallel wooden bars facing each other in one, where you keep going up and down and up from one to the other before you make your final landing. There is also the jumping horse apparatus, where you hit an item just like a ladder before landing on the apparatus to perform an aerial move before your final landing. Of course, in the floor exercise, you are supposed to perform some aerial and artistic acrobatics before landing each time on the floor. Now, as for the beam, the very thin apparatus, you are supposed to land on it several times from aerial positions before making your final landing. Generally speaking, in each apparatus, you score points and you lose points. You lose, of course, if you fall or make a shaky, not a fixed landing. The landing, the still landing, and the degree of difficulty are the keys to scoring higher. Now, in boys or men's competitions, they have six apparatuses and just four like us. They practice the four we have and possess an additional two. So it's normal that males have to practice. where you hit something like a ladder before landing on the apparatus to perform an aerial move before your final landing. Of course, in the floor exercise, you are supposed to perform some aerial and artistic acrobatics before landing each time on the floor. Now, as for the beam, that very thin apparatus, you are supposed to cerned parallel wooden bars facing each other in one apparatus where you keep going up and down and down and up from one to the other before you make your final landing. There is also the jumping horse apparatus, where you hit something like a ladder before landing on the apparatus to perform an aerial move before your final landing. Of course, in the floor exercise, you are supposed to perform some aerial and artistic acrobatics before landing each time on the floor. Now, as for the beam, that very thin apparatus, you are supposed to land on it several times from aerial positions before you make your final landing. Generally speaking, in each apparatus, you lose points if you fall or if you make a shaky, not a fixed landing. The still landing, and the degree of difficulty is the key to scoring higher points. Now, in boys or men's competitions, they have 6 apparatuses and not just 4. They practice the 4 we have and possess an additional 2. So it's normal that males have to practice more than females since they have 6 apparatuses and not just 4. Freestyle football, also known as freestyle soccer in North America, is the art of self-expression through creatively juggling a football using any parts of the body, excluding the elbows to the hands. It combines football tricks, dance, acrobatics, and music to entertain onlookers and compete with opponents. The official governing body for this sport is known as the World Freestyle Football Association, the WFFA. The art of freestyle football can be traced to games of Southeast Asia, such as Chinlone, Jianzi, and Sepak Tarko, which have been practiced for 2,000 years. Fundamental freestyle tricks such as the neck stole and around the world were first popularly performed in the West by circus performers. In the 70s and 80s, the late Argentine footballing legend Diego Armando Maradona famously brought his freestyle Life is Life warm-up to international attention while playing for Napoli in Italy. The ability to freestyle, however, was widely criticized at the time as not having direct relevance to playing in the game of football. At the beginning of the 21st century, several significant events helped elevate freestyle football with broader recognition. Brazilian footballer Ronaldinho starred in advertising campaigns which popularized the ability to practice alone with a ball and develop the new move and tricks. Inspired by Maradona, South Korean footballer Mr. Woo sought to become a football entertainer. He established Guinness World Records and performed the 1988 Summer Olympics opening ceremony and the FIFA World Cups in 1990 and 1994. Then, Sofiane Touzani from the Netherlands introduced a new style of lower tricks which were popularized through viral videos. Footballer Sandy Levitas was among the first women to share videos of her freestyle skills, which inspired more girls to take up the sport. Different styles were then developed, such as lowers, uppers, sit-downs, grounds, and blocking. In 2015, Ronaldinho was recognized by the World Freestyle Football Association, the WFFA, as ambassador for the sport. Competitions have been organized across the globe, and videos have been shared by over 80 million people on a monthly basis. In recent years, some of the top football players in the world have credited freestyle and street football cultures for helping to develop their talents. These athletes have included Neymar, Ibrahimovic, Ronaldo, and Messi. My name is Mahmoud Raghib. I started freestyle in 2012-2013. I chose freestyle because I wanted to learn tricks and nice football moves like Ronaldinho and the rest of the world-renowned footballers. Then, after I mastered all of the moves and tricks I could get hold of, and while making a big search on YouTube and elsewhere, I discovered the existence of freestyle football. So I decided to take the path of professionalism in freestyle football or freestyle soccer. Our game is simply the practice of free moves and tricks with the ball via the use of your legs mainly, and the rest of your body parts with the exception of your hand, of course. You could play while standing up or even in a sitting position. Of course, in championships, you usually have a panel of judges who decide your score. They are usually three judges. There is a judge for basic moves, another for tricks, and a third for faults. Usually, national championships here in Egypt start by qualifiers in different areas before reaching a final 16 and then picking a winner to decide Egypt's representative at the World Cup, where players from all around the globe participate in this popular sport event. We also organize international championships here in Egypt, and there is a tournament for the Arab region as well. Usually, tournaments here in Egypt involve 30 players, where each is tasked with performing a 1 minute show. Judges then rank or classify players according to their levels. 16 players then compete in battles of 3 rounds each, where each player has 30 seconds to show his talent and skill. The champion is then picked by the judges, and he gets the honors of representing the country at the World Cup. France's Sian is considered one of the legends of our sport. He was crowned world champion 3 times. Sian is now in retirement, but is still considered the best freestyler globally. A freestyle footballer should be agile and really skilled with his legs, and of course, the perfect technique and reaching the utmost you could takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. It takes years and years.
عنده مثلا تكنيك في الاداء وهو بيلعب وده كله بيجي من ممارسه اللعبه مع الوقت.
Personally, I'm still working to improve myself and elevate my level.
I have participated in 3 national tournaments here in Egypt, but unfortunately, I have yet to land any medals or top positions, but I do intend to get there one day soon.
والله احنا كنا بنطالب
I
اصلا
call on sports officials here in Egypt to establish a federation for our game, for there is an international federation for freestyle football, but we still don't have this here. We also need more sponsors in our sport, more media coverage, and generally more attention to the sport so as to help spread it across the country, for it is indeed attractive.
باذن الله يعني
My
ننزل
immediate
بقى
goal now is to win the national championship and represent Egypt at the World Cup, and I hope to do that soon, God willing.
وربنا يكرم بقى في اي بطولة كده من البطولات الجاية.